Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Optimism on the Rocks. I'm Derek.
And I'm Myria.
So today we're going to be taking a look into one of my favorite topics, which is philosophy. It's a little bit more, maybe a little bit more heavy than normal, but more just there's going to be a lot of
I'll lighten it up.
information. We're taking basically a different approach up to this point. It's basically been Myria bringing things to me, and I'm gonna, come with some information myself, and we'll see what Myria thinks about moral philosophy.
I've had a bit of a teaser. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn some stuff and give my feedback.
Mm-hmm.
But first, today's drink is the Socratic Mule.
Mm.
And I asked ChatGPT to help me find a cocktail for this episode, and it gave me this recipe, and it said these are the ingredients and why they're in it. So vodka for clarity of thought, ginger beer because it has a bite like a sharp question, fresh lime because it has a zesty touch of philosophy, and then I just added lychee because I like it. So
I do find often that if I have enough vodka, my thought is very clear.
yeah,
It makes perfect sense. Cheers.
cheers. The lychee, right?
It's good, man.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Add lychee to everything. You know, some people say lychee.
I don't know what's right.
I think lychee is like from its home country. Like that's how you say it.
Okay.
Lychee is like the North American way that everyone says it. So both are correct.
So they're both right.
That's your first philosophical. I don't know. Explain philosophy to me before I tell you that's philosophy.
Well, so the fun thing about philosophy, one of the fun things I think about philosophy, is that there is no right answer. Philosophy is, thinking about thinking. That's the way I would describe it.
Thinking about thinking.
Yeah. Well, it's like examining why you think certain things and how you get to how you make those conclusions.
Okay.
So, like, there's different areas of philosophy that you can talk about. So you have epistemology, which is kind of the study of knowledge. What can be known, like what's true, what's not true, how do we determine things that are true? Like
who creates the dictionary?
Who creates the dictionary? Not only like who creates the dictionary, but like what is the limit of what we can know versus what we think.
Okay, do you have an example?
Well, okay. So if you look at René Descartes, his famous thing, I think, therefore I am, right? That is an epistemological statement.
Okay.
He is trying to define his existence because what can we know? The only thing that I know is that I exist.
Okay.
And the way I know that is because I can think about it.
Right.
Right?
So is it like
what else can we know outside of that? Right?
Okay.
The only thing that I can know really is what is my experience. I don't necessarily know that you are real.
I know.
Right?
I'm an NPC.
You don't exist. But as I think it was Jim Jeffries, the comedian.
Okay.
He had a line in one of his things was like, the only thing we can know is that I'm here right now. However, there is a non-zero chance that I'm standing in a padded room in a straitjacket going, I'm making a podcast. Which is, his was different, but like, I can't know that that's not true.
Oh, it's so weird.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of an epistemological
like
thing.
you're plugged into the matrix. You
Exactly.
don't know for sure.
Yeah. And then...
So is it just kind of like being self-aware? Or you're just saying, like, when you watch a movie and it's in like first person? Where you're just watching that person's story, but you're not really watching other people's story. Where other movies, you're kind of seeing both stories. The only thing you really know is like your story, what you're seeing behind your eyes. Is that kind of it?
Kind of, but I think it is more tangible than that. Like, then you start talking about okay, so this is a table, that's a table. How do we define what a table is? Like, who decides that? If you remove a leg, is it still a table? If you...
Well, if you remove a person's leg, are they still a person?
I would say yes. How much of...
Yes.
Here's the question. How much of a person do you have to remove before they're not a person?
Oh my goodness. Like if you took their brain out and plugged it into a machine, are they still a person?
Yeah. That's a great question, right?
Okay, what if they died, if you took their arm and you plugged it into a machine and it's still moving, are they still a person?
That
Is
where
that what you're talking
where does personhood reside? That's the question. Right?
Inside your soul, of course.
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay.
so that's just one piece of philosophy.
Okay.
Then you have ethics, or like moral philosophy. You know, what is right from like a moral standpoint,
Right.
and how do we arrive at those kind of things?
Like just saying be a good person is
What
so subjective.
Absolutely. How do we determine
Dang.
how do we arrive at morality in society? There's certain people who would say, well, you do look to religion. That's what guides your morality. There's other people who say you don't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can derive morality in other ways.
And there's different religions too.
Exactly. So we might say from our perspective that something that is done elsewhere in the world isn't right.
Yeah.
But if their religion says it is, and that's what guides their morality, can we say that they're wrong?
The only example I can think in my head is how we don't eat dogs. But in some countries they eat dogs and horses, but they don't eat pigs or cows.
Okay, so that's a great question, right? Have you ever seen the PETA billboard of, you know, you have a scale of animals, and then it's like, we eat these ones, and we don't eat these ones.
Oh.
Why? It's a great question.
Yeah.
Right? And I think a lot of, people who eat vegetarian for moral reasons,
Yeah.
they've got a lot of legs to stand on there, right?
Yeah.
Like, if we're saying, right now in the news, there's a lot of talk about dog and cat eating.
I know Trump said it, but where did it come from? Did he just randomly say it?
So there was a not true story that came out
Might
of...
be true.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, it's not. It's like demonstrably not true. Someone said, it's like, oh, my dog, it's her cat went missing, and she thought it was her neighbors ate the cat.
Oh, God.
And then,
Did the cat come back?
Yeah, the cat was in there.
Next day?
The cat didn't even come back. The cat didn't leave. It was in her basement.
Oh, my God.
But someone still wrote a story about it.
Oh.
And then the vice presidential candidate said that at a rally. And it's just like,
God.
that's crazy. However, why don't we eat dogs and cats? Because they're cute?
Because, I don't know.
Would you eat a rabbit?
I mean, I wouldn't choose to eat a rabbit.
Well, there's parts of the world where you just eat rabbits.
Or squirrels or possums.
Yeah.
Do people eat raccoons?
I mean, I assume so.
They got a lot of fluff on them.
I mean,
Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Do you know why they have that? Because they
live outside?
Because they hang out in the trees at night and they fall, so they need a lot of padding to... They're pretty cute. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
carry
good.
on.
Nothing wrong with... I got no problem with
Raccoons.
trash pandas. So then another piece of philosophy is logic.
What was the last one? Ethics?
Ethics.
Okay.
So logic is how you build an argument, how you, the reason, and working through the scientific method, things like that.
Okay.
And how do you build a solid logical argument? That's all part of philosophy. And then you end up with metaphysics. Metaphysics is about reality itself. And that then circles back to epistemology and what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
So all of these things are encompassed in philosophy. And once again, I am not an expert on philosophy. I have a really big interest in it. So hopefully I'm explaining things good enough for everyone out there.
Okay, so reality is interesting.
Mhm.
It's I would say most people define reality as like a shared experience. So both of us are looking at this white desk in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
We're both saying it's a white desk. But how do I know that you see the same colors as I do in your eyes? So what is a white? Is that, sorry, did I?
No, I'm just like, I'm looking at my list. It comes up later.
Oh, sorry. But also like schizophrenics. Or like people who, because schizophrenia is like when you see things and you believe that they're real. So like, right? Because multiple personality disorders, when you have different personalities, schizophrenia is like seeing things, hearing voices, delusions. So it would be like me thinking there's like a little troll hanging out here, but I'm like, he's real. I believe it. It's my reality, but I know that you won't see it. And maybe you just can't see my potential. I don't see potential, by the way, but...
Don't worry, I see this.
Oh, you see?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to point him out. We both see him, so now it's reality.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
But, like, that's... Right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So...
Sorry, I'll let you continue.
No, so, like, that's... But that is the question. If we all say... Like, so we both think that... We both know that that's a white desk.
Right.
But we don't know that we perceive white the same way.
Right.
How, like, there isn't really a way to define that. But we can also know that people can be colorblind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So if you think about, there is a psychological experiment or just a thought experiment of if you lived in a black and white world, but you had all the information at your fingertips to, like, this is what color is, this is what it would look like, and if that's all described to you, if you then walked out into a world that had color, would you get new information?
Is this like the cave thing?
It's not the cave thing, but we'll talk about the cave thing.
Sorry.
It's fine.
That's all new, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean... No, like if someone's colorblind, it's hard to describe when they're like, okay, well, what does red look like? I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
A mix between...
Because it's all... Yeah, it's... Because our perception of color is effectively relative.
Yeah.
You know...
Also, it's not... sorry, I said it's like yellow. It's not like yellow. Red is its own color.
Red and yellow are, in fact, different.
Yes. My bad, sorry.
It's fine.
Red, yellow, blue. I know it's the primary colors. It's fine.
What if you're on the computer? then it's red, yellow, and green. Or no, red, green, and blue. I don't know why.
Is it?
RGB. Yeah.
Why?
Ask whoever made computers and how they work with primary colors. I don't understand.
I didn't know that. That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask IT tomorrow.
Yeah. I would actually like to know the answer to that question. I don't understand enough about computers to know why they use a red, green, and blue spectrum.
Weird.
Whereas
I should write that down. Remind me.
Okay, we'll do.
We'll let you guys know too. I know you're dying to know.
But just back to the color thing.
Yeah.
So that question is, does perceiving that color give you new information versus being told about it? Like, could you arrive at, is there extra information that you gain by seeing it, or could it be described to you? And that does lead to the allegory of the cave, which is Plato's famous, actually, like, probably one of the very first philosophical thought experiments that exists is about how you perceive reality. And we've talked about it, but I'll give a very brief overview of the cave allegory. So it's effectively, imagine you were a person and you lived in a cave. Your reality is confined to that space. You are chained, you're trapped there, you can't leave.
Sounds like P. Diddy's house. Sorry.
It'd be a lot slipperier, I think. But okay, so in your reality, you can see some shadows that are projected against the wall.
Yes.
And that is your entire scope of reality.
Yeah.
That's what you think it is.
It's kind of like 2D, right?
Kind of like 2D.
Yeah.
And that's part of it too.
Oh.
Is so now let's say someone then takes you out of that and they turn you around, they show you behind the fire that's projecting these shadows onto the wall.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so this is real. It is like going from, like, you exist on this two-dimensional piece of paper,
Yeah.
and then you come out and you're into a 3D world.
I want to go to 40.
So what's real? Okay. So then, is there a dimension beyond what we exist in right now?
That we can't even understand.
Exactly. Could you, as someone who's living in the cave, you might be able to imagine that there's something else happening. Maybe you can't.
But you don't know.
But you don't know. So for us, and that is the effect, that's the kind of the point about the thought experiment is, how can we think about something that we don't have a concept of?
Yeah.
And would we accept it if someone came to you with the truth?
Yes.
And said, this is what the fourth dimension looks like. Could you accept it?
Yes, I would accept it. Would you?
I would not. Absolutely not. No.
Oh, I would. Like, that's amazing. Show me 5D, 60. Let's go.
Well, but that's the thing. If they could show it to me, that's different.
But describe
Can they? If that person, they come back and like, this is what reality actually is. Could you even accept it? Could you even accept that was true?
Yes. Yes. Immediately, yes.
I think this is going to be an interesting discussion. So yeah.
Oh, I want to now. Now you've got me excited.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's all sorts of different. So within those like four main areas of philosophy.
Okay, what was the?
So
we've got ethics, logic. The first one I hear.
Epistemology. So just knowledge.
Epistemology. Okay, knowledge.
Knowledge and metaphysics, which is like reality.
Really?
Yeah.
Because some people say like the metaphysical world, or am I thinking a different word?
No, I mean
like
you're in the right. It's in the right vein, right?
But isn't that like not reality? Like when people are talking about like the psychics and the
yeah.
Is that the same?
I think they
called?
probably use that word.
Yeah.
But they use it in a different way.
It's their reality.
Yeah, it sure is.
Maybe that is the real 4D. They're trying to describe something to you, but you're not prepared to listen.
That's probably true. It's not true. They're scam artists and they're taking your money.
Oh my goodness. Okay, next.
All right. Well, let's churn through the boring stuff. Hopefully we haven't lost everybody yet.
I'm having fun.
Okay, great.
Still here.
I know I enjoy talking about this stuff. It's really hard to know for me if other people enjoy it too.
You know what? If no one's watching this, that's okay.
Yeah. So
If you are, thanks.
So that basically these questions have kind of splintered out to a bunch of different concepts of philosophy.
Oh, okay.
So like you have determinism.
Oh, well, you were just up here.
Yeah.
Wow, we got lots.
We have lots to go.
Okay.
Determinism, basically just meaning everything is planned out. We are not making decisions. You're just going through life. Everything that I'm saying that we are doing, fate is deciding what that is. Right? That plan was set in motion a long time ago. We're here, and nothing that I say or do changes anything. We are just vessels that move through life.
Like we're watching a movie.
Like we are thinking we have free will, but we don't have free will. Everything that we decide, that we think we decide, we were always going to decide that.
How would that happen? Why?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I could throw this. That's my decision.
You could, but maybe you were always supposed to throw it.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe that was part of the plan.
I mean, hopefully the plan at least has something good for me cooked up.
Yeah. We can only hope.
I hope the planet has me on a yacht with $1 billion.
I mean, you can hope for the plan as much as you want, but the plan is the plan.
I don't like it. I don't like determinism.
Yeah, determinism sucks. I'm just trying to think of the best order to put these in.
Random.
So, you have nihilism, which is very fun. And that means that is basically that all values are baseless and nothing matters.
That's dumb.
But it's rooted in like taking a look at the question and saying, whatever we do, it doesn't matter. Like nothing that we do matters.
That's why you say that all the time.
It's not why I say that all the time. So I'm not a nihilist.
Okay.
What I am is an existentialist. So an existentialist is someone who thinks that people create their own meaning. And that's how you can have...
People create their own meaning.
Yeah.
What's that mean? What do you mean?
So, like, a big part of philosophy is what is the meaning of life? Right?
Sounds fun.
Okay. So you would probably... So if that was true and you're like, everything is about maximizing fun... That is effectively like hedonism.
No, we talked about this.
We did, and so like...
I think everyone should have fun, not just me.
Okay, but even then, so you're maximizing fun.
Yeah.
Right? Are you maximizing personal fun, or are you maximizing collective fun?
Collective fun.
So, what if collective fun means less fun for somebody, but overall more fun for everybody?
No, collective everybody.
Well,
every single body.
But what if someone could be having more fun? Wouldn't that be better? So you're like...
I don't know.
So you're a capitalist for fun?
Everyone should have
So everyone should be having how much fun?
The correct amount.
Who's deciding what the correct amount of fun is? Do you decide what the correct amount of fun is?
Everyone can decide how much fun they want to have, but
Okay.
it doesn't take away anyone else's fun.
But what if it does?
What
if my idea of fun is no one else having fun?
Well, then that's your fun, and you can't control.
But now I'm not having fun because you're having fun.
That's selfish.
Okay.
Everyone was you had fun.
If you determine meaning only through your own experience, what does that mean? Does that mean you should be maximizing your own personal fun at the expense of other people?
No.
Why not?
No expense of anyone. I don't want to steal anyone's fun. I want everyone to have fun together.
So that would be great, Myria.
Yeah.
It's not really how the world works, is it?
But you asked me.
I did.
That's what I wanted.
So.
If someone wants everyone to not have fun and that brings them fun, they have problems.
But what if they only like fun for their small group of people? So then they have like
But why can't
10
other people have fun? That's selfish.
What if they just don't care about the other people's fun?
Okay, they don't have to care. But if they are outright, their fun comes from everyone else not having fun,
but what if
that's crazy.
They're not necessarily like actively trying to make other people not have fun. It's just the fact that their idea of fun diminishes your fun.
How?
I don't know. Maybe they're like, well, we really like dogs. We like puppies. Dogs. But they're like, well, we should have all the dogs because it would maximize our fun. But so, I mean, Myria, it looks like you're having some fun, but we're going to have more fun if you give us that dog. So really, you should give us the dog.
So I'll kill them and take their dogs.
Okay, so now and there we are. But it's one of those things where you think about it and you're like, oh yeah, everyone should just have fun. Everyone should have what they want.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not how things work. So then you have to start making more decisions.
Well, if this is like a magic idea of everyone having fun, then I will just have more dogs. I'll make more dogs.
Great. What if we run out of resources? there's really philosophy is about building your framework,
Okay.
right? And saying, okay, what is a good way to do anything?
Okay.
And then does that fit with your own personal moral philosophy? Right?
Yeah. I just want everyone to have fun.
I appreciate that. I like having fun. Having fun is great. Okay.
I don't like those two. Next.
Pragmatism. Pragmatism
Okay.
just prioritizes practicality as a test of truth.
Okay. Practicalities.
So instead of thinking about these big overarching things, it's like, what is the actual thing that we're doing? And moving forward and saying like, that's the only thing that matters is what we're actually going to do.
Okay. No, I need an example.
I mean, that's harder to give an example of. But it's kind of the fun doesn't really matter as a pragmatist.
Okay.
Because it's a subjective thing. How much fun someone's having is subjective.
Like
it's
happiness.
Exactly. I can say that we give everyone a dog.
Yeah.
Some people like dogs. It's fun, right?
Some people don't like dogs.
Some people don't like dogs.
Those people are not people I like.
Some people are allergic to dogs.
I am. I have 2 dogs. Very allergic to them.
That's not very pragmatic of you, Mariah.
But it's the other one. Hedonistic.
Yeah. I didn't even write that one down.
Is that what you said?
Yeah. You have like rationalism is just reason is where you get our reason is how we define truth, which makes sense.
Reason is how we define truth.
Yeah.
Like the reason you do something, or what do you mean?
Like the band? No.
Yes. Is this a song lyric you're referring to?
No, it's just it's funny. Like the reason's not even a big band. I saw them open for somebody one time. I have one of their CDs. It's very good, but
Forgot about that.
But yeah, it's just having that thought experiment and carrying it through and saying and deciding rationally like this is what we should be doing.
Okay.
Which I think makes perfect sense, but it doesn't really answer philosophical questions of like what's real, all those things. You're coming to it from a set point of okay, these things are established as true, even though you're kind of
like scientific more.
Yeah.
Some kind of okay.
Yeah.
That one's more boring.
Yeah, and then I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't like super sexy.
No,
and
I don't
fun.
mean that. I just mean like that. I would like the first ones were exciting because they're just so open ended, and you can just. But that one's just like this is the fact.
Exactly.
Boring.
So let's get into fun things.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't read upside down.
That's
I
okay.
can't even cheat the system here.
It's perfect. So we have. I did bring this up to you before, so you
Not
kind
the
of have.
cat.
Not the cat.
Okay.
I don't. Oh,
No,
we talked about Schrodinger's cat this today. I think that's a very boring thought experiment.
It is. I asked if Derek would bring Marco so we could put him in a box
And we're not putting my cat in a box.
to see if he's dead or alive. That's the whole thing.
Okay, so we should probably explain Schrodinger's cat now. That was not my intention.
I like the
Schrodinger's cat is basically the idea that there is a cat in a box. Until you open the box, you do not know if the cat is alive or if it's dead. I don't know why this man decided that, but this was a great thought experiment. But it's effectively that because you don't know, both answers are true, which I think which doesn't make sense to me, and it never really has.
No. Just because you don't know doesn't mean.
Yeah, one of those states is probably true.
Yeah.
Should be true, unless maybe there's more than one cat. I don't really know.
But like before you came here, if you were like, I'm either wearing a purple or a blue shirt, and I'm like, I don't know, doesn't mean you're wearing both.
Exactly.
It's purple.
So someone can give me
listening.
if someone can give me a better explanation as to why Schrodinger's cat is important, I would love to know.
Without bringing Marco into it.
Yes.
Save the cats.
Leave Marco alone.
Save Marco.
But let's
Okay.
just go to the ship.
I don't know.
Okay, so this was originally posed as Theseus' ship. I'm not going to worry about that because it's effectively, let's say you have a boat. Okay, this is your boat.
Is it a yacht?
Sure, it's a big old yacht.
Do they serve me sushi? And...
Oh, so much sushi.
Oh, I love this boat.
Okay, so what's the name of your boat?
The Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't know why.
Perfect.
That's the boat.
So we're sailing the high seas on the Ebenezer Scrooge. And we get to port. And we're like, you know what? We need to put a new change some of the hull pieces need fixing. They need repair.
Okay.
So we replace them.
Okay.
Okay, then you drive the Ebenezer Scrooge around some more.
Okay.
And you get to the next port. You're like, oh, we should actually replace these windows.
Okay.
So the years go by, and eventually you've replaced every piece on the Ebenezer Scrooge.
Every piece.
Every single piece is different than when it started.
And hopefully the sushi's fresh.
Sushi, well, I mean, maybe we even got a new chef. A new chef on board.
Okay.
The question is that still the Ebenezer Scrooge?
Yeah. Because I'm on it.
But, like, every single piece has been replaced. Is it... But it looks the same.
I get it.
Everything is the same. But
I don't
what...
like that one. That's an interesting thought.
It is an interesting thought. And that brings us to a conversation that we've had on a previous episode.
What?
Teleportation.
Oh.
And using, like, Star Trek. A Star Trek teleporter. It literally is...
Except for that's consciousness. Where this is just like a physical thing.
Where's your consciousness? Is it in your brain?
It's in your soul, Derek.
Because here's the other thing that's interesting, and you may have heard this. Your body's cells replace themselves about every 7 years.
Ew.
So are you still the same person?
Too?
It's not that you're 90% bacteria. It's more that more bacteria live inside of you than you have, like, cells of your body. Or something like that.
Human DNA or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
So I'm like, it controls you. Like, just a side note, just an asterisk right now.
Yeah.
That, like, your gut health, like, you have this microbiome in your guts that tell you what you're craving, that control, like, your mood, and control all these things that are about you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that also you then?
That's a great question.
Ew.
Are you being controlled by the bacteria in your guts right now?
Yeah.
Maybe you are.
When the sugar monster comes, I'm like, I need sugar.
Absolutely.
The gut needs sugar.
But it's also not really true that your body replicates all of its cells every 7 years. That's not
Gotta
really
keep
true.
some cells. But from
well, yeah.
a baby to now, like, you change so much.
Well, and just think about people who have, like, spinal cord injuries and stuff. Your spine doesn't fix itself.
Right.
Therefore, it's not creating new cells.
Right.
Like, you have all those cells. There is evidence that your brain can have, like, neurogenesis, but it's, well, like, that your brain cells will replace themselves.
Oh.
But brain damage is obviously
Right.
very difficult. We can't fix it.
No.
If someone's brain isn't working properly, there's some evidence to suggest that you can grow some brain cells back, but it's very, very slow and not necessarily would work.
How about those people who have all those, like, concussions and stuff?
Yeah.
And then they, like, their personality completely changes. Or, like,
Absolutely.
one car accident, you're, like, a different person.
Or you forget all your things. Like, you forget all your memories go away. It's like, so does that really live in your consciousness, or is it just some piece of your brain that's telling you that you remember all these things? Could we replace your memories?
I've watched too many fun movies that, that losing my memory sounds super fun. For like short time.
You still haven't even watched The Prestige yet.
Is that about? You have to watch Altered Carbon.
Okay, I'll watch Altered Carbon.
I'll watch Prestige.
You won't. I won't watch Altered Carbon either.
It's such a good show. That one's really interesting because it's like, yeah, their consciousness is like, you just jump into another skin is what they say.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. So it's you, but you're in a different body. Ugh. I would choose a ninja. Like, I would make someone work out a body, like, completely, like, just a bunch of skills, like muscle memory, and then I would jump into that body.
Okay. I mean, that's a great decision.
It's a side note. Asterisks done.
Okay, so... But that is a fun thought experiment of...
Okay.
Where does...
The Ebenezer Scrooge.
We sailed the high seas on the Ebenezer Scrooge. We solved that riddle. We have. So now let's get into the really fun things.
Okay.
The trolley problem.
Okay.
So I know that you watched The Good Place, right?
Yep.
So there is a whole episode in The Good Place about the trolley problem, and it's awesome. And you should definitely watch it.
On the train?
So the train is different. There is a whole episode dedicated to the trolley problem.
Okay. Remind me.
So the trolley problem is this. Let's say you are standing up on a cliff. Okay? You can see a train that's going along the tracks. Mm-hmm. On the tracks, you can see up ahead.
Down at the bottom, or
yeah, it's down at the bottom of this hill.
Okay.
It's down at the bottom of the hill.
Okay.
You can see where it's going, and there's a division in the track.
Candyland.
Okay, it's not going to Candyland.
Okay.
You can see that there's 5 people working on one track.
Okay.
Coming up. On the other track, there's 1 person.
Oh.
You have the lever to switch the tracks. You can't warn the people. What do?
You know what you do?
What's that?
You let it run over the 5 people, then you back up, and you get the other person.
I mean, that's the smart way to do it, yeah.
Then nobody
Maximum
knows.
carnage, and no one knows how you fucked up.
It's obviously the one. Or, do you like the person? Maybe you don't know the 5 people. And you go, I can't do anything.
Okay, well, to start, assume that you don't know any of them.
Okay.
Do you... Actively pulling the lever will definitely kill that other person. Not pulling a lever kills 5 people. What do?
Call a friend.
There's no time, Mariah.
God. I don't know.
So, I mean, just so we're clear, there is no right answer to the question. There never is.
I don't want to kill anybody. Like, I just want everyone to have fun.
But...
Take the train to Candyland.
Train's not going to Candyland, Mariah. You got to make a decision. What's your decision?
1 person.
Okay. Now, what if you know that 1 person? Does it change your decision?
Of course.
Okay.
Unless I know them and I don't really like them.
So, the other way to look at the first scenario, the trolley problem, most people say that you should switch and kill the 1 person. It's very reasonable to say that. However, there's also the idea of if you don't do anything, you didn't cause an action, so morally speaking, you didn't do anything.
That's worse. By not doing anything.
Exactly. But some people think that there is that obligation, right? By not doing anything, you are still making a choice.
Of course.
Right?
You are.
Of course, I agree.
Yeah.
But that is a way of just being in that scenario. There are some people who would say, if you don't do anything, that bad was going to happen anyway. Right? Oh. If you weren't there, those 5 people would have died.
It's like the starfish on the beach.
Exactly. but that's the point of the problem, right? Is you could say, like, if I wasn't there, they would have died. Me pulling this lever, I am actively killing that other person.
Right.
But then there's the other thing of like just being in that scenario. Now you're obligated to make a choice.
Yeah.
So not pulling it is the same as killing those 5 people.
Can you choose to faint?
Sure, but those 5 people are still dead, Myria.
I don't like this one either.
Okay, so now you're saying, but now say we don't know, like we don't know those people.
Okay.
Most people would still choose to do that.
Yeah.
Now, what if instead of
More.
Of course.
This is like a dark personality test. Like the dark version.
Basically. But that's why there's no right answer to the trolley problem. It's just a way of demonstrating that anything that you do can have consequences.
Yeah.
So most people would say, yes, I would pull the lever and would kill that other person.
Yeah.
It's the
What would you
least damage. I mean, I would do the same thing.
You wouldn't kill them all? Do a backup, hit them all?
I mean, I'm not in control of the train.
6 points.
I have no control of the train. If I could control the train, I would make the train just stop.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like, oh, you're just...
Well, I just mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it probably would get stuck because 5 people would kind of jam it up. You'd have to back up anyway, and they'd be like, we'll have to take the other route. So it's going to die anyway.
Yeah. So the other problem is, again, most people would choose to switch the track.
Yeah.
Now, what if to stop instead? Now let's say there's only one track,
Okay.
and those 5 people are on the track, destined to be killed by this train.
Okay.
There is no switch. However, there is someone standing next to you, and if you push them in front of the train, it would stop the train. Is that different?
Okay, hold on a minute. I would never even have thought of that. If I would be like, oh my god, this is crazy. We would just both be looking at this train being like, I would never... Okay, now...
Well,
that
okay.
person's fucked.
Well, I'm going to tell you. So the original problem of this is about a fat man who's standing near the train, and so I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this problem. I'm getting pushed in front of a goddamn train. But that's...
You're like, good luck trying to push me.
But that's the thing, right? So it's effectively the same thing.
It is.
But it feels way worse to like push that person in front of the train to stop the train.
But how does that get in your head? Like, how do you think of that? That's the thing. Like, at least that one, it's like, oh, shoot, these are my decisions and this is the outcome. I would never even think that was an option to do.
That's not part of the not part of the game, Myria.
That's part of the game because it's like that person is already crazy. If you're already like, you know what? That's my chance to push someone in front of a train.
But that is that's the concept of like utility and being a utilitarian.
Okay.
So a utilitarian is maximizing the most amount of good for the most amount of people.
Yeah.
If pushing the fat guy in front of the train is...
I would never push you.
I appreciate that.
I don't think I could. You'd be like, nice try.
Yeah, I'd be like, boom. As the train just wistfully tosses you aside and then goes and kills those other people as well.
You're like, great. I mean, if I tried to push you, I'd understand.
Yeah. But like that's so most people would pull the lever and kill the single person.
Yeah.
But then most people would not push someone in front of the train.
No.
But they're effectively the same thing. So then it's about the psychology of what's different about that, right? And that's just a philosophical question.
Because they look at you like this.
Yeah, and the other person, they didn't know that you.
Embarrassing on the camera.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, there's no right answer to the trolley problem. There never is.
You never push someone in front of a train. That's the answer.
But if pushing that person, you save 5 people's lives, Myria.
No.
Then would you really switch the lever?
Yeah, because they won't know.
Well, I wouldn't know after either. I'd be fucking dead.
I can't do it. I won't do it.
Well, I appreciate that.
If I imagined someone else. No, I still couldn't do it. Would you push someone?
Again,
You would?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. It is a much more difficult.
Train. I'm gonna be thinking about pushing someone in front because of you, and be like, you know what? Might save someone.
I think that the knowledge that someone will definitely die is very important to this. And you also know enough about trains that I would definitely derail the train. Because otherwise, then you just kill me for no reason.
Oh my god.
So, that leads us to another problem.
Another dark. This is lighthearted. No? Worse?
It's worse.
Okay, I'm ready.
So,
let's take a step.
This is just an expansion on all these ideas. Okay? What about autonomous cars?
Cars that drive themselves?
Cars that drive themselves.
I like it.
Who's writing their morality code? What happens when we have a bunch of AI cars on the road and they have to make a choice? Is there a morality engine in your Tesla? Is it say your car is going too fast? A kid walks out in the street over here, 2 kids walk out on the street over here. It's going to run into them, and it can choose to pick 1 or 2. Is it doing that? Is that choice actively getting made by the car?
Ew.
It's a great question.
But you know what? I think that by the time that those cars come out, we'll have a good grading system on people.
Already exist.
And we can decide the value of each
There
person.
are currently autonomous taxis driving around in the United States.
Really?
Yes. Do they have
They're probably
morality programming?
They're probably programmed to at least care a lot about the passenger.
Care a lot about the passenger. But now, what if someone who's writing that code is a little racist? What if they wrote the code? What if your car is racist? Could it be?
The car isn't racist. The car is coded from a racist. The car can't be actually racist.
Sure.
Programmed racist.
But so that comes all that all comes down to then liability. Does the code matter?
An exciting fun.
Now, who's not having fun? I'm having so much fun. These are all important questions, Mariah. And that's why philosophy leads into society, right? That's how it all meshes together. And like political philosophy, then you start dealing with questions of if government is helping these people, is it actively hurting other people? How do we distribute resources in a fair and equitable way that also isn't taking from others in an undue manner? Right? Now, because we can say we want to maximize happiness. That's great. There's a lot of unhappy people out there that could be made happier if we redistributed some wealth. But our society doesn't really like people doing that, right? Because that might take away happiness from you to be able to bring someone else up to a level.
This is depressing. You're like, yes, I win.
I'm just saying.
It's kind of like Just in Time.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
I don't, but yeah.
Because he had like, what they would do is like, it basically talked about money, but they paid in time.
Mm-hmm.
So he had like watches and it would have how much time they had left on their lives. And they would just be living like days to days. And like you couldn't use your time until you're 18 years, you got a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
But then other people had like millions of years or whatever because they just had all this money so they could do everything slow. Then everyone else was going fast. And like they said they would raise prices in these areas so that they didn't have too much money. So they kept kind of changing this where the rich area had all this time, but it's just money. And they could have just shared that time with the people.
They could have, but they didn't. Because they don't have to.
This episode is poopy.
I'm having a great time.
Look at you smiling.
It's so fun. Moral philosophy is a good time, Mariah.
Oh.
But that is, obviously that is a reflection of society, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And then, okay, so the luck of birth is also a problem of philosophy, right? Of just saying,
Privilege.
what's it called? I had a word for it. I lost it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, just like the veil of luck, really. Like, you are, or thinking that you got somewhere in life, but without realizing that you started way ahead of a bunch of other people.
That's privilege.
It is privilege.
Yeah.
And but that's that philosophy. If you ask someone who's like really rich, they'll be like, they will say that they earned everything, right? It's like, but they probably, and maybe some of them did. A lot of them probably started off way farther down the road than a lot of other people would start out. Again, not saying that happens for everybody.
Like when parents pay for your college and help with your down payment for your house and pay for your wedding and buy you a car when you're 16 and...
Or, look at even the wealthiest people on the planet. So people would look at Jeff Bezos and be like, oh, it's a self-made guy. He started that business in his garage and everything. And then you look at how he actually started the business. It's like, yeah, he started the business in his garage with a cool few $100,000 loan from his uncle. He had that safety net. The same thing with Mark Zuckerberg. The same thing with Bill Gates. Like, Bill Gates, Microsoft, started because his mom or aunt or someone had a big in with IBM. So IBM was like, hey, who should we use to do this? And someone was like, hey, how about this Microsoft guy?
Yeah.
And then that brings those things together. Was it a great invention? Maybe. Would it have been as successful if he didn't have that foot in the door at IBM?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I want a foot.
I want a foot too. You get that foot in the door. Right?
Yeah.
So, you look at that and go, oh, these are self-made guys.
Yeah.
It's like, they're not self-made guys. They just had more advantages to start.
Yeah.
You look
at... what if Joe Rogan was like your cousin? And we started this podcast and we're like, we did all the work, we did this.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan, your cousin, was like...
Joe Rogan was like, hey, you guys should check out these guys' podcast. Yeah. And we had 100,000 people come check out our podcast.
Podcast.
Exactly. We're obviously just doing this for our friends right now, basically. Yeah. And for us, obviously. And it's fun.
It is. I get to learn stuff even though it's depressing.
So yeah, all that stuff's interesting. And we've talked about simulation theory before. But then the question is, would you choose the simulation?
Like red pill, blue pill?
I don't know if you saw Don't Worry, Darling. Which was a
so
flawed movie, but a good concept. It was not really done that well, I didn't think, but I had a good time watching it. Visually, It's very nice. Yeah. But the whole concept is, you have this group of people, or you have this group of people who are actively choosing to live the simulation. Some people aren't.
Mostly the men. That one woman was.
Yeah.
But that was a good movie, actually. I thought. I didn't see the flaws in it. I thought it was great. But I like how she just kept asking questions.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
But that's part of the problem, right? At what point would you choose to deceive yourself if you could have everything that you wanted? Would you plug in
for my Ebenezer Scrooge yacht?
Yeah.
And my hundreds of dogs that I wasn't allergic to.
Yeah. Would you make that choice?
Yes. Yes.
I think most people wouldn't, but
it's like Barbie. You want the shoe or the...
Yeah.
Whatever the other shoe's called.
The Birkenstock.
The Birkenstock.
Or the heel.
Heel. Every time. I want to live in delusional land.
Yeah. Living in delusion land sounds like fun.
Yeah.
For a while.
Why not?
You know, I mean, I think...
Then everyone's having fun in delusional land.
Sure. You hope so.
You wouldn't?
I don't think so, no.
You could have anything you wanted. Everything.
I don't know, I feel like you know... See, and this is why philosophy is important, is because I feel like people know what's real, right? Like, if you're in a dream, there are times where you're in your dream and you go, when you stop and you're like, this is strange, right?
No.
I definitely have had dreams like that.
That's weird. That's not very common, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say it happens all the time, but
yeah,
there's definitely times where, I can, like, understand that I'm in a dream at that point in time.
I feel like sometimes I'll have the dream, though, and I'll wake up and be like, oh my god, I have to go back. And so I want to go back and trick myself into thinking this is real life, because that seems more real at the time when I'm half asleep.
I find that sometimes I just want to, like, go back to sleep so I can be like, what happens next?
Yeah.
What was going on, man? I need to get back in there.
But you go in it as like this is weird.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, that feels more real at this point than real life. I'm like, no, go back. The dream about eating like a buffet of pizzas. And I was taking the pizzas. I was taking each, I've never thought of this before, but you take a slice of one and it's like a pepperoni and whatever else. And then you plop them on top of each other like a sandwich. Oh yeah, the sandwich.
I wasn't gonna bring that up. It is. I do think it is a philosophical discussion that is fun to have, and that is a hot dog a sandwich?
We talked about this a little bit today, but
yeah, this is an epistemological question. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Because then we start talking about, well, how do we define what a sandwich is?
Yeah.
Is it just two pieces of bread?
Yeah.
Around some sort of filling product?
Didn't even see vegetarian.
I mean, I think we can say veggie sandwiches do exist. At least a veggie burger, is a burger a separate category of sandwich? Is it just a sandwich? Yeah.
That's a sandwich.
That's a real sandwich.
And then I said, well, what if it's just like a folded over, like a hot dog?
Yeah.
And then if you take the bun separate and go like this, now is it a sandwich?
Exactly.
Then you said, is a taco a sandwich?
Is a taco a sandwich?
Turns out in the States, they have a lot of...
there are a lot of legal decisions regarding what is or what is not a sandwich.
And they're all sandwiches.
I believe a taco is a Mexican-style sandwich in California. What's it?
So
or is
weird,
it New York?
Oh, I can't remember.
But then we started talking, we have a steak sandwich. Normally here is served open face. So it's just like one piece of bread with a piece of steak on top.
It's not a
sandwich. Is that a sandwich?
Like,
we call it a sandwich.
Toast isn't a sandwich.
I agree with that. And it's gross. Don't do that.
You don't like avocados?
Avocados are so gross. But then it's like, well, if an open-faced, like, hot turkey sandwich is a sandwich, let's say that's true.
Okay.
Does that mean a pizza's a sandwich?
No. But if you take an open face...
But if you is a calzone a sandwich?
No. Pizza is not a sandwich.
What about like an empanada?
What's an empanada again?
Empanada is like a fried, like...
It's a Mexican pizza pop?
Yeah.
No. Okay. But when you...
So a pocket is not a sandwich.
No, because it's closed on all the edges.
So if it was not... if we just like cut a slit around it, and it was just folded, but it's not sealed, then it's a sandwich. Okay.
But when we're saying open face, you take any kind of open face sandwich, you cut it in half, and then you plop it on top. Now it's a sandwich.
So a pizza can be a sandwich? No.
But in my dream, I was sandwiching them, but they were not a sandwich. Have you ever had two pieces? I've never. I can't.
What do you mean?
I could take two pieces of pizza like this and plop them on top like a sandwich.
And now it's a pizza sandwich.
I've never... Like, I dreamed that up, and I think I'm onto something.
But like a New York style piece of pizza, you fold it and you eat it.
Yeah, that's a taco.
But we already established that a taco is a sandwich.
No, not a folded situation. 2 different slices of pizza layered on top of each other to eat like a sandwich. That would be so delicious.
I am agreeing with you.
I want to try
But I'm also talking about the definition.
Sorry.
I'm not talking about how delicious it would be. I'm talking, is it a sandwich?
All the combos. What is your favorite pizza?
My favorite pizza... Well...
Did we talk about this?
I don't think we talked about this.
Spicy sausage.
I think that's my favorite pizza topping.
Okay.
Is like an Italian sausage. Not necessarily spicy. Doesn't have to be. But like a really strong fennel sausage.
Oh, we did talk about this, yeah.
I don't know if we talked about it on this.
Fennel is weird.
It is weird, and I only enjoy it in sausage form.
Weird.
Like, I don't...
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah. That's one of... That, I mean, I love a classic New York style pepperoni pizza. I mean, that is...
Just classic. Okay.
Just classic. I also am a fan of pineapple on pizza. Sue me, I don't care.
We totally talked about this.
I'm sure we have. Probably on the Don't Be an Asshole one.
Think that far back?
Probably, because...
I don't remember.
Because I think the people who get angry about people who have pineapple are insane. Like,
just getting mad about anyone's preferences is insane.
100%. Which brings me to my next philosophical question: does God exist?
I see we're out of time. And that ends this episode.
It's a fun philosophical discussion, Mariah. We should probably have that.
We are out of time. I could see on the time there. We are out. So we will see you next week. And we hope you enjoyed this depressing podcast.
I had a great time. I have no idea if anyone else will like this, but we'll see.
I liked it at the beginning, and then you went real dark.
You know.
I'm going to go cry myself to sleep now.
You could be thinking about trolleys.
I'm thinking about Ebenezer Scrooge being ripped apart into a million pieces.
But we put him back together.
No, we didn't. You replaced him with all the pieces.
Yeah.
Someone else's pieces.
But you said he's the same now. It's still Ebenezer Scrooge. You said so.
I'm done here. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. See you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.